evening. Today is January 12th, and this is The View with Catherine Chang. Today's topic is Venezuela, Taiwan, and China pressure. The U.S. government arrests Venezuelan President Maduro and transfers him to the United States for trial. This move has triggered international debate over whether China might pursue a similar decapitation strike against Taiwan. U.S. President Donald Trump made this point that China would not do so. I agree with him. However, China, I think, is putting pressure on Taiwan in the other ways. Here are some points. A. In his interview with the New York Times, Trump emphasized that Venezuela and Taiwan are fundamentally different. He stated that you didn't have drugs pouring into China. You didn't have the jails of Taiwan open up and the people pouring into China. And actually, B, I want to talk about when asked whether China might attack Taiwan after the Venezuela operation. Trump stated that it was up to Xi Jinping, but he added that he had told President Xi he might be very unhappy if China attacked Taiwan. C. I believe Trump raised the cross-strait issue at this moment for a specific reason. The U.S. move against Maduro was a direct slap in Beijing's face. We know Venezuela has long relied on China as its backer, and Maduro himself had openly challenged Trump and saying that the United States would never dare to arrest him. Moreover, Venezuela is a major source of drug trafficking into the United States, just as China has been accused of exporting fentanyl into the United States. B. Bonnie Gresser of the German Marshall Fund has also said that she does not believe the Venezuela case gives Xi Jinping any pretext to attack Taiwan. In Beijing's view, Taiwan is what it calls an internal matter, whereas the U.S.-Venezuela relations are more international affairs. However, I believe Beijing has used different approaches to pressure Taiwan. For instance, China's Taiwan Affairs Office has announced the so-called punitive measures against Taiwan's interior ministers and education minister, labeling them as the hardcore Taiwan independence elements. This raises a simple question. What does the People's Republic of China have to do with the Republic of China, Taiwan? And what authority does Beijing have to impose such punishments on Taiwan's ministers? And how would it do so? There is nothing wrong with the two ministers stating that Taiwan and China are two different countries. Meanwhile, Zheng Liwen, chairman of Taiwan's largest opposition party, Kuomintang, the KMT, is planning to visit Beijing in March, and she may meet with Chinese President Xi. Well, the key question is, if they do meet, what would be the trade-off for such meeting? Would it involve blocking the $40 billion defense budget? Well, but according to the latest poll, a majority of Taiwanese people support passing the defense budget. If the KMT continues to block the defense budget, how long can it hold out? Here are today's top stories. First, I want to talk about the Chinese launches a large-scale military drill around Taiwan. The drill took place from December 29th to 31st, with the PLA firing as many as 27 missiles on December 30th, concentrating in two designated zones. President Lai Ching-te criticized the Chinese action, and he said that Taiwan must prepare for the worst while also making the best possible preparations. And while the drill was named Justice Mission, critics criticize it. It is anything but justice because it severely disrupts Taiwan's commercial aviation and maritime operations. Meanwhile, President Lai Ching-te reiterated Taiwan does not belong to China. In response to China's labeling Taiwan's interior ministers and education minister as hardcore Taiwan independence elements, President Lai said the Chinese government's cross-border pressure on the Taiwanese people only further proves that Taiwan is not part of the People's Republic of China, and I would do anything possible to keep the nation safe. And President Lai also noted that Japanese upper house lawmaker Xi Jinping, who has been banned from entering China, was actually able to visit Taiwan, which proves that the Republic of China and the People's Republic of China are not subordinate to each other. On the other hand, protests continue to erupt across multiple parts of Iran. Local officials said at least 500 people have died so far, but local media suggested that as many as 2,000 people may have been killed. Donald Trump subsequently issued 3 warnings to Iran and saying that if violence against protesters continues, the United States will strike Iran very hard. Iran then warned Trump if the United States Army gets involved, Tehran will retaliate and designate U.S. military bases in the Middle East as legitimate targets. In addition, President Xi announced to invest in the new 10 major AI infrastructure projects. And speaking at the Nobel Health Forum, President Xi said that, the government will invest $50 billion to the new 10 major AI infrastructure projects and aim to cultivate 500,000 AI professionals by 2040. President Xi said that except for the Silicon Shield, he wants to make the AI healthcare industries as a new shield for Taiwan. He also emphasized that the investment is vital to Taiwan's role in the global AI and technology landscape. You can see the photo that this is me shaking hands with the President Xi, and I had the honor to be the host of the Health Forum. In the end, I want to share with you that a Taiwanese F-16V fighter jet pilot went missing. This is Air Force Captain Xin Bo-yi. He lost contact near Hualien while flying an F-16V fighter jet during a night training mission. Defense Minister William Wall said that the military has dispatched specialized vessels to locate the aircraft's black box and that intermittent signals have been detected, but further confirmation is required. We know that the 2nd Theater Command continues to surge along the coastline from Hualien to Taitung. A total of 1,206 personnel deployments involved so far. Searching operations are ongoing. That will be the view for today, and I'm Catherine Chang from Taipei. Today is Monday, and I hope you all have a nice Monday. I'll see you again.